Hi guys, it's Heather, the Butterfly Effect, plant-based weight loss, and today is Friday, and that makes it Foodie Friday. And today I'm excited to share a delicious autumn recipe with you, which is baked cranberry apple crumble. So let's get started making it. Let me show you all the ingredients. The first thing we need, of course, is apples. And I've got a mix of both Golden Delicious and Granny Smith. I think that makes the most yummy crumble to have a little sweet, a little tart in there. And then we need, of course, some beautiful cranberries. Hopefully you can still find these after Thanksgiving in the United States. But this is a great way to use up your extra cranberries if you still have some left over. And then we'll need the juice of 1 lemon. We're going to need some spices, which is going to be some cinnamon and some ground cloves. And we are going to be sweetening it with dates. Here they are. Okay. We only believe in using the fruit, the whole fruit, and nothing but the fruit. And so there's no sugar in this recipe at all. It is SOS free, no sugar, no salt, no oil, no problem, because it's absolutely delicious. All right. So how we're going to do this is we're going to start out by making the date paste that we're going to have in our recipe. And what I did was I took 1 cup of medjool dates, which is about it's about 10 dates. And I soaked it in 1/2 cup of boiling water until the dates got soft. And now I'm going to blend it in a bullet type of blender real quick to pulse it and make it into some date paste. So let's go ahead and make our date paste. There we go. What I love about this recipe is it's not too sweet. It's a little bit tart from the lemon and from the crisp apples and the yummy, beautiful, vibrant cranberries. And so it's not too sweet. Sometimes this time of year we get a little overdosed of sweet, don't we? Okay, so I want to show you, I have this cool apple cutting machine that I want to show you how fun it is. And what I do is I'll take an apple, and it has a little handle, and you stick your apple on it with the stem side going that way. And now watch what happens. I turn the little handle, and it's gonna take off see how juicy that apple is? It's taking off the skin, but it's also slicing it into beautiful little spirals, and it cored it. So it's an apple slicer corer peeler. And I'm going to just throw these in this big mixing bowl, and then I just pop these off the end, and we will be composting those. So let me just set that aside for composting. Here we'll have a little place to put the peels. There we go. All right, isn't that fun? These are so fun to use with kids. And do another one. Go ahead. Look how fast it makes it to process all these apples. There we go. So we got 2. Now, I am gonna, I always think that it's a good idea to have more apples than you think you're gonna need, because you just want to make sure that this bowl is you want to make sure that it's kind of heaping, because when the apples cook down, they're gonna get, okay, so it's important to get the apple all the way on there, and I made a mistake, so forgot to tell you that. So it might make it hard to cut. There we go. I do find that the firmer the apple, the easier they process on here. So these grannies do really great. Okay. It's just super fun. I would love to have my little favorite sous chef Melly back. My little 6-year-old friend, or I think she might be 7 now, but she's my favorite little chef to cook with. All right. Let's say I'm going to go ahead and do all 6 apples. So just pop it on there. I got to tell you guys, this is so fun. One more. All right. And last one. One more granny. Remember to get it all the way on there, and sometimes it can be a little challenging. But it helps it needs the pressure to cut against when you're making doing the peel. All right. All right, so now I got all my apples. Let me just clear this out of the way. I'll just put it in my bowl and we'll recycle those. It's gonna go into my compost for my garden. All right. Okay, so now I'm grabbing my knife and I'm just gonna, it just makes it quick and easy. You're just gonna slice them into like half rings. So you want kind of big pieces. And if there's a little bit of peel that stays, I think that just makes it more like old-fashioned than home style. I don't take them out. It's not enough to ruin the texture of the dessert or anything like that. Okay, so just cutting up my apples a little bit. I think the uneven chunks kind of looks good too. You know, it just looks more old-fashioned and yummy. Okay, so there's my apples, all processed. A little bit of glare from the window, so I don't know how much you can see. But now I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. All right, juice in my lemon, my old-fashioned lemon reamer. Okay, pour that in. You really want to coat the apples because it's going to help your cinnamon and your cloves to stick, and your dates. Okay, that's a good amount of lemon juice. Woo! The lemon juice keeps it from discoloring as well, which is nice. I'll put that aside. I can actually move my cool apple machine out of the way. It has a little clamp that holds it to the counter, so that's a really nice feature. Makes it really easy to work with. Okay, and now I'm going to add in my beautiful cranberries. And what I did was I took cranberries and I cut them in half because you don't really want like a huge amount of sour. So you want to have them smaller, and they're really pretty. They look like little jewels in your bowl. Look at this. So you just cut these guys in half the long way. I mean the short way. Look how pretty that's already looking. All right. Now we want to add in our spices, and I am going to add in 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, and oops, it's always a good idea to take the little lid off. 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. This makes it smell so great, you guys. The whole house smells like a delicious apple pie, you know, like grandma's apple pie. When you're making this dessert, everybody will be waiting for you to have it out of the oven. Speaking of the oven, I have it preheated to 400 degrees. And now I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. So 1/2 teaspoon of ground clove. And that, yeah, there we go. All right. And now I just want to toss everything together a little bit. Really get it all coated. Okay. So I got that all coated in the lemon juice and I got the spices all over it. And now I'm going to add in the date paste. And I'm going to reserve about, I don't know, a few tablespoons of the date paste. I'll show you. Hang on just a second, it's slippery. There we go. The first thing you always want to do is get the stuff that's stuck on the blades, because you don't want to waste any of that great date paste. Okay. Then I put, I don't know, almost all of it. Because I'm going to show you, we're going to do a little trick. Okay. All right. So I'm putting almost all of it, but I'm not using a rubber spatula to like scrape it clean because I want a little bit in there because of the next thing that we're going to do. All right. So now I'm going to incorporate in my date paste. Alrighty, you guys. Oh, I sometimes wish that you could smell what I'm baking and what I'm making for you, because it's really the best part. It really is. Okay. Take a little peek in the bowl there. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to do this little trick that I was telling you about, which is that I am going to take some of my apple cranberry mixture and dates, probably about 1/2 cup to a cup. There we go. Filling that up, okay? And I'm going to add just a little bit of water to it, maybe like a tablespoon of water. So let me just grab my pitcher. Here we go. This has got filtered water in it from the Berkey. Oops, this would be the spoon. Okay, I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of water. And I can always add more if I need to. And why I'm doing that is to help the blades turn on the bullet blender. Let me try to get that back in there. All right. First thing you want to do is always shake it down. Shake it down. I'm going to bang it. Okay? Get it down by the blades. There we go. All right. Okay, now we're going to set that aside. That's got some apple and some cranberry and some date and the cinnamon and the spice, okay? Now, I'll show you what we're going to do with that. Next thing we're going to do is grab our organic quick oats and a silicone baking pan, because there's no oil in here, so it could stick. And I'm just going to transfer all that yummy goodness right into the pan and distribute it evenly. Okay. Now I want to take the oats, and I want to flavor them. So here's the beautiful cranberries and apples in the pan, all ready for the oven, getting ready to go. There you go. I'll move this out of the way a little bit so you can see it. We can even put it at an angle. There we go. All right, now I want about 1 cup of the oats. So I'm going to do 1/2. I only have a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm doing 2 of them. 1 and 2. You can always make a little bit more if it doesn't make enough, but that's what I like to start with. Then I'm going to take some of that apple cranberry date mixture with the spices in it and the lemon juice. And I'm going to use that to flavor my streusel topping, my oats. I'm going to flavor those all up with the delicious apple and cranberry taste. So even the topping is going to have that taste of the apple and the cranberry on it. Okay? All right. And so you want to get it wet, but not like, you don't want to make oatmeal. So if you have any extra of this, you could either make more topping, which is what I think I'm going to do. So I'm going to put in maybe like a little bit more oats. I'm going to do 1.5 cups because my family really likes it. Okay, so I did 1.5 cups total, and that's what I'll write the recipe. I always put the recipe down in the description. So if you're ever wondering, you know, after the fact what the recipe is, that's where you'll find it. Okay, now I just want to take and get the rest of these, the rest of that beautiful cran apple and all that good stuff. Get it out of there. Put it in the pan. Don't waste it. It's basically like applesauce, isn't it? It's like apple date sauce with cranberries. Okay. Got that all out of there. Into the pan. So delicious. I'm going to put a little bit of this in my oats. Don't want to waste a drop. Get it all out of there. You don't want it to be wasted off of there. Okay. All right. I'm going to give it another quick mix. Okay. This is about the right texture. You want to have the oats be damp, but you know, not like oatmeal. You definitely want it to be falling apart as you're crumbling it. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to take my beautiful cran apple. Here we go. Let me put it right back up here. Had some escapees there. Okay. Beautiful cran apple. And now I'm going to sprinkle on that topping. And you want to just kind of distribute it evenly across the whole thing. And like I said, this is kind of my family's favorite part. And so I made a little extra topping. I probably would normally just use like 1 cup. But my family likes their oats. Okay. Now I want to use the back of the fork to kind of smash it in there. Because you want a tiny bit of the apple and the cranberry to kind of show through. And we'll do that actually at the end too. We'll make it so it shows through. Okay. So this is going to go into that 400-degree oven. Let me go ahead and grab my tray. Whenever you work with silicone, you always want to use something firm like a cookie sheet. And that will keep it from collapsing while it's baking. But see how pretty that is? All right, and I know you don't want to wait. It's going to take about 40 minutes to cook, and I want you to see the finished product. So here is one that I made to take to a potluck. And what I did was I went ahead and baked it in the silicone, but because the silicone is not the prettiest thing in the world, I wanted to make sure that I put it in something pretty. And so I just spooned it into this beautiful little acorn dish to make it like a little bit more pretty presentation. So bring this to the party. Again, we're baking it for about 40 to 45 minutes in a 375 oven. I think I said 400, but I remembered that I want 375. 375 oven, about 40 to 45 minutes. And I'll make sure I write that correctly in the recipe below. And then you'll have it, I see how I made it like a little bit where the cranberry and the apple is showing through. I just think that that looks good. All right, I hope you try this recipe. I wish that you could smell it. It smells so good. It tastes so good. And you know, this time of year, people really appreciate when you bring something that's a little bit healthier for them to have, because they get sick of having all of that sugar and heavy food all the time. And so some fruit and oats, you could eat this for breakfast. It's super healthy, it's super delicious, and it smells amazing. I hope you guys have a wonderful time celebrating with your family and friends, and I will talk to you next time.